see dope people. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Dope People. I am your host, Brooklyn's favorite polymath. I sit out with all of my chest, all parts of my chest, and I'm here to be your host. And people always ask us, like, well, why did you use that term "dope"? Like, where's that come from? Well, it's a throwback term. It kind of means awesome, amazing, and so I know a bunch of dope people, and I want you to know a bunch of dope people. And today I have one of my favorite people. I have known her from back when she had a different name, but I am happy to really bring to the stage radio personality extraordinaire, Roxie Digital. Give it up for Roxie, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing?
What's going on, Mr.
Nice.
Dean, my favorite polymath from Brooklyn?
Yes, I'm branching out into other boroughs now.
No,
How are
no,
you doing? Say
we're
again?
for one.
All right. So, Roxy, I always start my show with a calibration of how my guests are understanding the term dope. So, who is the dopest person that you have ever met? Like, it could be like met one time or somebody that you know personally. Who's the dopest person you know?
Well, I'm going to say this because I was thinking about this interview the other day. As you said, I worked in radio, and I always look back at the dopest people I've ever interviewed, and by far, and still, it is Common.
Hmm.
Down to his what really made him stand out from all the other extraordinary celebrities I've ever interviewed was it felt so natural that I felt like he was family.
Okay.
And in addition, I have like a very big soft spot or like an attraction to like really um how do you say like distinct voices. So
Yeah, he does have yeah.
if you have a voice that I just love to listen to and I could just hear over and over, or that could just put me to sleep or relax me, it's his. So throughout the whole interview, yes, it was, a contrived interview. I had certain questions that I had to ask him. But when we were done, the conversation continued. And I think that's what I like, that it was so interesting, not only the interview and just talking to each other, but he forgot where he was and
Uh,
kept talking to me. And then it turned into an interview. It switched. He started interviewing me and wanted to know about me. And I was young. I was like 20, 21. So yeah, I have to say not only the dopest person, but a dope moment.
that's amazing because a lot of times some of the stuff that happens off cameras is some of the best stuff, or it's off radio, off mic. It's some of the best stuff, right? You're like, I have had interviews on this podcast, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I was still rolling because that's some really good things. And then you can't go back, right? You can't be like, wait, say everything you just said all over again. So, but yeah, Common's a good choice. I really I appreciate that point of view, and he does have a good voice. I'm waiting for Common and all of these old people to move out of the way so I can finally get my chance and take over Lenny Green and the Quiet Storm one of these days.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's the point where I tell you what I think is dope about you or what dope thing that you do, and I I've known you for quite a long time, and long before you have were even part of our sister organization. You're a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta, um, and I, and you speak about the fact that you were interviewing Common when you were 21 years old, and you've been around the industry, but to your sorors, to your friends, to even to people in the industry, you are still the person that we always knew. And there are people, and I've known people who have started off small and now they're big time and they act big time. You've always been humble. You've always been about, well, like, here's another opportunity for me. It probably is not in line with my stature, but I'm gonna take it because it means something to me. And I remember when you moved to Caribbean radio, or the Caribbean radio station. I was like, huh, this is an interesting move. I thought she was going to go in a different direction, but this is an interesting move. But it meant something to you, and you killed it, right? You absolutely murderized it, right? And that was because you have Caribbean roots, and but I always appreciated that you never got too big for your britches. Like you never got to the point where it's like, I'm too big for all of this rest of the stuff. If it means something to you, whether it is hosting a fashion show for one of our fraternity brothers, or it is doing something major, you always found the time for it because it was important to you.
Oh no, definitely. Because, in life or just how you're raised, and you mentioned the Caribbean roots. Um, I was always told to me and ingrained, don't forget where you come from. And I think I really took that to heart.
Right.
I always go back to, anything Brooklyn, anything Haitian, anything community, because that's where I came from. That's what I know. Um, so yeah, I think that's a great quality, and interesting that you bring that up. And I wish more people thought like that.
Yeah, this is an industry that can like pump your head up, right? It's an industry that can start to make you believe that you are better than people, and walk through this world because when you get to be a certain, you have an assistant or people recognize you, and now you start to feel like, oh, I'm a celebrity, and at the end of the day, everybody puts their pants on at one leg at a time, and people need to recognize that, and I'm happy that we never lost, we never had a stretch of like, oh well, that's the blank blank that I used to know, now she's Roxie Digital, I can't talk to her, you know what I mean?
Right, right. I think part of that comes from observing a lot and seeing big, huge names that I would, literally be in the room with, working alongside, calling my colleague, and seeing their low moments and saying, I don't want to get there. And I personally would know why they would get there and say, well, that's probably why. You didn't
Yeah.
you didn't understand your why, and you didn't, like you just said, you got too big for your britches. And you didn't humble yourself.
Yeah.
At every stage, humble yourself.
Yeah. That's a real thing. Well, thank you so much for that. And we are going to take a quick break, and I want to hear what dope thing. And I know we just got through talking about being humble, and now I'm going to ask you to brag on yourself. But we're going to come back, and I want to hear exactly what dope thing you've done or something that you are currently doing. My guest again is Roxie Digital. We will be right back. I see dope people. Welcome back. It is Dope People. I'm still your host. I'm still Brooklyn's favorite polymath, and we're still talking to one of my favorite people, Miss Roxie Digital. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I know you're very, very busy, and I know that when we're recording this, it's like a lot of stuff going on. So I want to get right into it. What makes you dope, Roxie? Like, what dope things have you done, or are you currently doing, or involved in, or about to do that you can, debut on the show? Ding, ding, ding. Tell me what makes you dope, Roxie.
What makes me dope is I do everything that I say I want to do. I say that because I want to say recently, but it wasn't recently. It was secretly recently because I just divulged it on social media. I moved to San Diego. And the reason why I kept this secret is because it's something I always wanted to do. And sometimes when you tell people your dreams or just things you want to do, they throw their opinions on it, or they throw their doubts on it, or they throw their negativity on it, which I saw through the years as I was keeping it to myself or just putting it out there as an idea to see what people thought. And people would be like, oh no, I wouldn't do this because, and I wouldn't do that. And I say it's one of the dopest things I've done because it's an important move for me. Like, I want better. Everybody wants better for their family and for myself. And I've been doing and hustling so much. And the things that I want to do include being in that space. So I did all that, and why it's so dope because I'm also finishing a doctoral program. I'm also, literally holding down two job positions, one in my own company and one with partnership with children as a director. So I'm working in between media and education. So juggling all these things while also being a mommy and a wifey is really, really hard.
The cutest kid ever.
Yes, he is my mini me. Braxton, shout out to him. He's a brand new 9-year old. And I'm trying to also show him by example that tenacity that you can do it. And I show him physically through having like to-do lists and vision boards. So one of the first things on my vision boards and why this is dope is I would like to relocate to the West Coast. And I did it. So when I say I do everything I say I want to do, even if it takes 5 years or 5 months, I do it.
So I saw that posted on social media, and it made me very, very sad. But I was very happy for you. But it meant that I don't get to see you at haphazard and random events anymore. But I'm very excited for you because I know that this is a big deal and a big move for you. So you just mentioned your own company. Can you talk a little bit about what that is, what that does?
Oh man, so I named it after my son. Obviously, I'm trying to build a legacy here. And it ties into the work that I'm doing with my doctoral program, which is in education leadership and curriculum design at St. John's University. I am rolling into my last year. I am done. Let's praise the Lord. Um,
Hallelujah.
yeah. And it's working with Caribbean immigrant students and making sure that their world makes sense and that they could learn. And what I want to do is, and I've noticed I've been sitting on a gold mine. And by that, I mean, I know so many creatives, not just in radio, but in film, in publishing, in, songwriting, and so much. So I want to bring that collective,
Voiceover talents.
but right. But specifically, all of those people and industries I just named, those in the Caribbean diaspora. And I want to build something that will go global and go across our island. So, meaning Trinidad, Haiti, Jamaica, that will focus around culturally responsive education and teaching and bringing more of the professionals from the Caribbean, from the University of West Indies, to come into the States once everything that happens here dies down, and
Oh Lord.
it really connect the diaspora and make it make sense so that it becomes like a beautiful union. Like, we always talk about diversity and this, like, what does that look like to have those people come here and instill their knowledge and instill their expertise and all of what they build and invent and bring it here and kind of like build a Caribbean institution where we're talking about what we own, what we want to invent, what our radio stations sound like, what I want to build a superpower of that. Um,
That's that's really dope.
I,
And as a Caribbean person, I remember migrating here and starting college, and there was so many things that I had to learn, just culturally. And most people who are not of the African diaspora look at people within the diaspora and go, "Oh, y'all are black, y'all have commonality," and there's so much that I didn't know. Right, I didn't know about the educational system. I didn't know about internships. I didn't know about just cultural things. I didn't know how to play spades, right? Like, so I had to really have a whole other education in addition to the stuff that was going on in the classes. And it's wonderful that you're seeing that. And as I've moved through my educational process, and I've taught in higher education and done a lot of leadership work, one of the things that I keep on finding myself be is an intermediary between African Americans and Caribbean Americans and people who are still in the Caribbean, and really dispelling a lot of these myths that were propagated on top of us to keep us separate, right? And so those are really important conversations to have, but they can only happen if somebody is willing to say, all right, you come over here and you come over here, and I'll be the the broker in between, but we need to have those conversations if we're going to be great. And because there are for certain islands, there are more expats in this country than they are in the actual countries that we originated from. So I love that. I love that you're going to be able to do that work.
Right. I still
So,
seen the same things.
yep, absolutely. So we normally end our show with a dope moment in history, and you're in radio, so I thought that I would do some radio history. So in 1929, the person who is credited for being the first Black person on a radio or a national radio or syndicated radio is Jack Cooper in WSBC in Chicago, right? So he's credited with that. Nat King Cole in 1946 is the first artist to have like a variety show on the radio, and it's the Nat King Cole show, or stuff like that. But in New York City, which you just moved away from, boo, in New York City, who is credited for being the first Black person on the radio? Do you know? And it's in the 1950s.
Jackson,
Hal Jackson.
because I sit
Yes.
right alongside him and his beautiful wife. So shout out, well, rest in peace to Hal, and shout out to Debbie.
Yes, yes. Hal Jackson in the 1950s became the first person to be on the radio, and he ended up his career with the Hal Jackson Hour, and he passed away, and BLS was his last home, or MS Broadcasting. So yes, Hal Jackson. I love it. I love it. So Roxie, thank you so much for being on the show with me. How can people reach you if they're looking for you?
Always connect with me on the socials, on TikTok, because I'm not brand new to TikTok, but I'm still working out the kinks. Dr. Roxie Digital, you can find me there, and on Instagram, it's just Roxie Digital. I haven't changed it yet. Roxie Digital.
All right, and we'll get that up so people can see it. And of course, if you are watching this and you are liking it, please like, save, share, do all the things, subscribe. Make sure that other people who need to hear this podcast can see it and support. Roxie, thank you so much for spending time with us. I hope you had fun.
I had so much fun.
Excellent, excellent. Well, and for those of you out there, if you know somebody that should also be on the show, get in contact with us. But until then, join us next week when we will have another dope person. And between now and then, go forth and be dope.